And you've talked of mukti. So I would like to know, is it a mukti from life and birth? Or, more if you can elaborate.
Mukti from internal compulsions. The goal of life can be talked of as mukti, which is liberation, which is also called freedom. So if freedom is the goal of life, surely we are presupposing bondage, right? Without bondage, there can be no question of freedom, liberation, mukti. So that's what the freedom is from. All kinds of compulsions.
Yeah, but that is again a superficial way of mukti. The deeper level, as you say, or where we read, that mukti from to be desireless, to be detached, and finally, like in it's mentioned in the scriptures. Like you know. Through how to express it, to be the final ultimate goal of every human being, though we have been given birth, is to free from this cycle of birth and rebirth, and that is the ultimate.
It is not the next.
Is it? That's what is my query is, yeah.
It is not your next birth that troubles you. It is the bondages that you experience in this birth. Let the mic be there. She's communicating. It is the bondages that you experience in this birth right here. That's what troubles you. Who is experiencing troubles related to the next birth? Please tell me. And all of us indeed do have troubles. What are your troubles about? Here, this. So that's the compulsion we carry. To entertain troubles, to not to drop them, to think that we are helpless in the matter of troubles. So that's what liberation is. Liberation is not about the previous birth or the next birth. Liberation is freedom from the bondages that you experience right now. And the experiencer of the bondage is herself the bondage. There is no objective bondage. The one who experiences bondages is herself in illusion. So you could also put it as freedom from illusion or ignorance. We do not know who we are. Therefore, we feel obliged to keep suffering trouble. Right? Once you put on some random, dubious, fake identity, you'll have to do everything that the identity demands of you. Correct? None of these identities is real. And therefore, the compulsions attached to those identities are not obligatory. That's liberation.
डिजायर जब फिनिश हो जाएगा तो कुछ बचेगा नहीं.
Question is, how is life with desires?
Yeah.
No, wait. You're asking how would be life without desires? That's too much of speculation. Shouldn't the question be, how is life with desires? How is life with desires? And when you see that, then you say, whatsoever is the alternative is acceptable. Anything but this. Also, a state of desirousness is a state of ignorance. We do not know who we are, therefore we desire for the wrong entity. See, our desires never fulfill us. What does that mean? That means our desires are for somebody else. metaphorically put. You're doing something that does not fulfill you, so surely the fruits of your action are benefiting somebody else. They are not benefiting you. So you do not want to rush after these desires. You say, fine, stop these. And I am in a state of ignorance when I am desirous. In this state of ignorance, if I try to speculate how life would be without desire, what would be the quality of my speculation? I'm drunk, let's say. I'm drunk. Huh? I'm drunk. In this state, I cannot make head or tail of anything. Correct? And you come to me and preach the virtues of abstinence. You say, don't drink. And in my drunken state, I say, but I want to understand what would be the benefits of not drinking. What is the problem with this question? What is the problem with this question? It comes from a drunken state. In a drunken state, I am asking, what would be the benefits I will get if I do not drink? Sir, even you will know, but please get sober. So in a desirous state, I ask, what would be the benefits of dropping desire? No answer would be relevant. How do we navigate through what?
Okay, so basically, I'll expand it on your example. I'm drunk, and instead of asking, what are the benefits of not drinking, I'm asking, how do I navigate it? Like, how do I?
You just stumbled. Look at your knee. That's how you navigate. You're drunk. So what happens to you? What happens to you when you're drunk?
You're not walking straight.
Yeah. And then you?
Fall.
And you?
Fall.
And you bleed.
Yeah.
Yeah. Look at your knee. That's how you navigate. Look at your pain. Acknowledge your suffering.
So, like, suffering is, like you said, fulfilling life. So, but suffering is fulfilling.
Acknowledge. Don't inflict. Acknowledge.
Okay.
There is a difference between creating suffering and acknowledging that you are already suffering. And that's hard, right? And that's the reason most people prefer to rather live false lives. Because if they acknowledge their real state, it pains. It's like being out of sedation. When you are sedated, you don't feel pain, right? Or when you are anesthetized, you don't feel pain. So people choose to remain on sedation, on tranquilizers, on such things.
So, if I acknowledge the pain, what do I do then?
Then there is a natural thing within you that seeks joy and will drop pain. We are not born to live in pain. Our nature is joy. And that's the reason why we all rush towards that poor proxy called happiness. Because happiness, to an extent, seems like joy. In both joy and happiness, there is an absence of sorrow. So we rush towards happiness because it appears a bit like joy, though happiness is not at all joy. Happiness is just a shady cousin of sorrow. But we rush towards it because it looks like joy. So your nature is joy. The moment you acknowledge pain, you'll find yourself dropping it.
Okay, understood.
And in that lies your freedom. In that lies the power of choice. You can drop your pain. And pain is not compulsory. You are not mandated to live a life of suffering. If you suffer, that's a choice you have inflicted on yourself. And you can reverse that choice. We all have the liberty, rather an internal obligation, to bring ourselves to a joyous state, a state of complete bloom. That's what we are born for, right? You look at a flower. How do you feel about a flower that remained a bud or got nipped in the bud or flowered but incompletely? You don't feel good, right? You want it to bloom fully. That's what is the purpose of life. Full bloom. And it's therefore quite tragic if we pass away without expressing ourselves, blooming fully, actually living, reaching your utmost potential, dropping your last bondages.
Okay. I have another question. I'm really sorry about this, but
It's okay, it's okay,
yeah,
it's
it's
okay.
related to this. So, we were talking about desires and, how it should, like, we should live without desires. And, like, my desire can be, like, I want to be the most excellent person, yeah, the best person in this field. So, it is a desire, and, it kind of contradicts it, because my life won't have any meaning without it.
No. Dropping desire is not the objective. When you are an unfulfilled person to begin with, how can you not have desire? The thing is to have a sane desire. I'm sick. My desire should be for a doctor,
Okay.
not a dancer, not a joker. So desire the right thing. Desire the right thing and have an intense desire for the right thing. Wisdom is not about being desireless in the first go itself. No. We all rather need desire. But we need desire that proves good, that's of some utility. If your desire ends up troubling you all the more, what good is the desire? You can be a slave to the desire if it's the right desire. In fact, you must be a slave to the right desire. Desire rightly and immerse yourself totally in your desire. Give yourself up, surrender.
Sir, my question is how we control our emotions in a difficult situation and we maintain our life and peacefully.
Ma'am, mostly our emotions are not our own. They are so pattern based. So pattern based. If you just recall what made you angry the last time, just the recall will make you angry again. Just try to recall what embarrassed you the last time. Just the recall will embarrass you again. There is nothing but a pattern. So they are not your emotions. It's like having a button that anybody randomly can come and just push.
Is there any spiritual practice to control our emotions?
Just tell yourself, that's not me, that's not my emotion.
My emotion.
Address yourself not.
Sir, I need your suggestion actually.
That's a suggestion. Address yourself not as I, but as, let's say, Manju. What's your name, please?
My name is Shoma Lahiri Malik.
Fine. So, Shoma, address yourself by your name and say, Shoma, you are at it again. It's happening again. And it's not you, it's automatic. Let it happen. You don't need to participate. You don't need to participate. Let it happen. You don't need to be a part of it. If it's prakritik, if it's hormonal, if it's bodily, it will happen. What can I do? It's bound to happen. It's a part of my physical constitution. But I need not participate in the happening. I'll stay at an arm's length and just see what is happening.
Sometimes other stimulus are disturbed us, na? Outside
Yes,
stimulus.
there is disturbance, but not to you.
And in this situation, how we control our emotion? It is also my question.
How can it be difficult to see that it's all so mechanical? There is a word that you despise. There's a word that you despise. Let's say, I abhor being called ugly. After the 10th time I am called ugly, I should become impervious to the word ugly. I should become totally non reactive, indifferent. Because now I know what's happening. Okay, ugly, thank you. I mean, I have seen how the whole thing operates like an electric circuit. Right? There is the switch, tuck, to. This is so obvious and so foolhardy. How long can I participate in this? So, after a point, one just drops out and says, I don't see any point being a part of all this. In fact, if you want to play a game with yourself, predict yourself. Predict yourself. For example, you know somebody you are totally mad on is going to come to you, and you are already steaming hot. You are very angry. And now the doorbell rings, and you tell yourself, now you know what will happen. I'll open the gate and shout. Predict yourself. The more you see how predictable you are, the more you see how mechanical you are. Because only machines can be predicted, only machines can be programmed. If you can predict your behavior, your reactions in advance, then you know that you are just a lump of chemicals, hormones, circuits. And that's not what consciousness is. Consciousness is supposed to be free, right? An electric circuit is not free. Chemical reactions are not free. Sodium and potassium cannot decide whether to react with water. They are constrained to react. Do you want to be just a chemical? A chemical that is obliged to act in certain ways? No, when there is freedom then. Predict yourself. Predict yourself and then defy the prediction. So I was supposed to be angry. I didn't get angry. 1-0. Self 1, hormones 0. So keep the score.
Hormonal imbalance works actually.
So the hormones are imbalanced. I am not imbalanced. I'm not my body. So how can I be the hormones?